First tip, the height of the countertop, both the countertop for your cooktop and the countertop for your sink. Let's start here with this very important tip, which is the height of your countertop. It doesn't matter if the cooktop is on the same countertop as the sink or if the cooktop is on an island or vice versa, okay? Let's generalize here, but we're going to talk about the specific height of the countertop where the cooktop is and the countertop where the sink is. Pay attention. Usually, when you research kitchen countertop heights, you'll always hear and read that the standard height is 90 centimeters, from the finished floor up to the top edge of your countertop. But who determines this? Is the standard height really 90 or not? Is it 90 centimeters that you're going to use in your house, in your apartment? Is that right for you, for your daily life, for your family? Well, that depends a lot. 90 centimeters is a height that we set as a base, not as a standard, but as a base to follow. Now, what will determine if the height will be 93, 95 centimeters, 88, 85 is your height, okay? That's right. The taller you are, the taller your family is, you, your wife, your children. For everyday use on your countertop, both for the cooktop and the sink, we also need to have a finished height that's higher for this countertop. The opposite is also true. When you're someone who is shorter, 1.60, 1.70 meters at most, there we also need to lower the height of this kitchen countertop to 88 or 87 centimeters because this directly affects the ergonomics of your spine. When I talk about spine ergonomics, I mean the ergonomics of the layout, okay? It's about the daily use and how it will affect you and your health. If you're a short person and you have a very high countertop, you'll almost have to stand on your tiptoes to use your countertop. The same thing happens the other way around. If you're a very tall person and you have a very low countertop, you'll have to lean your body forward to use your countertop, and that directly affects your health and well-being. So, the first tip I'm giving you in this video, which is extremely important, you have no idea how many problems this can cause for your health and daily life when your countertop height is measured or designed incorrectly, okay? Second tip, the toe kick under your countertop as well as its height and setback. These two items here are directly connected, the height of your countertop and the toe kick. Many people call it a plinth, right? This base that extends out. I call it the toe kick. Here at ARC 7, that's how we make it easier to understand. What happens when you don't have a well-designed toe kick, just like our countertop? The toe kick is that base where your cabinet, your kitchen cabinet sits, whether it's made of masonry or cabinetry, and then a lot of people put a porcelain baseboard made from the same flooring or even from the same material as the countertop, you know, the countertop stone. I'm not here to talk about the aesthetics of this detail, this item we're discussing now, whether it's going to be porcelain or stone. That's a different video. I've already shared it here on the channel. But what I want you to understand is that this toe kick needs to have a height from the finished floor up to the point where your cabinet will start. That's the first point. Second, it also needs to have a depth in relation to the finished cabinetry. Okay? It's standard. Normally, that's the standard we usually use in projects, but that's something you decide in your project, okay? Just like the height of the countertop, which has a standard height, the toe kick does too. Usually in projects, we leave 15 centimeters from the finished floor as the height of this toe kick, and then we start the custom cabinetry, our cabinet unit. So 15 centimeters would be a good height. Can you make it less? Yes, you can. There's no problem. If you leave more than 15, you lose cabinet height. If you leave less, you gain cabinet height. Now, more important, in my opinion, than leaving it at 10, 15, 12, or 13 is how far back this toe kick needs to be set. When I talk about setback, pay attention. Your finished furniture ends here. Look, it's just the cabinetry. You can't align your toe kick exactly with the cabinetry. You need to. Set this toe kick back at least 10 centimeters, okay? Your cabinetry ends here and you set your toe kick back at least 10 centimeters. Do you know why? When you're standing in front of your countertop at your sink washing dishes or in front of the cooktop, the tip of your foot, your shoe, will hit that toe kick when it's aligned with the cabinetry. Do you understand? Do you understand? If you stand there and look down, you'll see that the tip of your foot, your shoe, goes past our body's vertical line. So automatically I need to leave this toe kick recessed so that when I'm using my countertop, the tip of my foot goes into this recess and gives me comfort while using my countertop. Never leave the countertop aligned. Your furniture aligned with our toe kick. Never. If you do that, you'll regret it bitterly. I'm telling you from my own experience because I've already been through some situations like this where clients called me to solve this kind of problem. All right, so this is also about health, ergonomics in your daily life, for your spine, for your well-being. These first two items I mentioned here are automatically connected. And if you make a mistake with them, I'm sure you'll regret it. The third item, I want to talk about the lighting in our kitchen, which I usually recommend to be at least a neutral white light. I would never use warm white lighting or even that amber color in a kitchen project of mine. You know that yellowish light we sometimes have in our kitchens? Except in exceptional cases where the client insists. They say, I want yellow, I like it, I want to have yellow warm white in my kitchen. Okay, that's not a problem. They will decide, but I will guide them. At the very least, it needs to be a neutral white, which is somewhere between cool white and warm white. Neutral white is right in the middle of the chart, which we usually set at 4,000 kelvins. Okay? You don't need to worry about that last word I mentioned, kelvins, for you. What you need to worry about is making sure that the lighting in your kitchen needs to be bright. It needs to be lighting that will bring brightness to your daily life there. It's not that warm white doesn't bring brightness, but compared to a social or intimate space, a service area like a kitchen, I will always recommend that you use neutral white or cool white as a last resort. Neutral white is basically a lighting tone that I always like to use in bathrooms, kitchens, and utility areas. And even in offices, okay? But always prioritize using neutral white instead of warm white lighting in your kitchen, okay? Refrigerator away from the stove. This is also a very good tip that I want to share with you right now. There are layouts, just to put it simply, that people like to talk about and illustrate where you need to use a triangle layout for your kitchen. Look, the sink goes here, the stove here, the refrigerator here, and so on. Is this mandatory? Is this a rule? No. The only thing you need to understand is that your refrigerator automatically needs to be kept away from your stove. You can't put your refrigerator right next to it here. We know that the refrigerator gives off heat from the back, right? That steam there, that temperature, and also the stove is a source of heat. But think about it. Why would I put the stove right next to my refrigerator without any protection? Here it is, man. Refrigerator, stove, cooktop, for example. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical to have these two appliances side by side because one, in a way, will end up affecting the other. Either the refrigerator will affect the stove, or more precisely, the stove will affect the refrigerator. And lastly, your kitchen floor. I will always recommend satin finish flooring in your kitchen. Let's go. I left this last item here to talk to you about the use of satin finish flooring, polished flooring, and even vinyl flooring. There are people who also use it in the kitchen because it's something people have mixed opinions about, okay? For example, I really like to use satin finish flooring in my projects. There are people who like polished flooring, you know, that flooring that has more shine. There are people who sometimes in the project they use vinyl flooring throughout the entire kitchen. Can you do that? Yes, you can. There's no problem at all. Can you install polished flooring in the kitchen? Yes, that's fine. Prefer a satin finish? That's also fine. It's a matter of taste. But I want to share with you my perspective as an architect, which might help you. Kitchen flooring, the floor needs a certain amount of slip resistance so it's safer to walk on. If, for example, you just wiped your floor, the polished floor tends to be it's more likely that you'll slip on a polished floor compared to a satin floor. So that's something you need to consider when choosing between a polished or satin floor. Is vinyl flooring good for a kitchen? It depends. Let me give you another perspective. Do you usually wash your kitchen floor? Do you actually throw water on the kitchen floor? In that case, I wouldn't recommend vinyl flooring for you. Go with satin or polished. Even more so, the satin one. So it's a matter of taste. There's not much to it. It's a matter of your daily use. If you're someone who cleans your kitchen a lot, go with a satin floor. If you clean it occasionally but like to throw water around, when you clean, go with a polished floor, polished porcelain tile. Now, if you're that person who just wipes things down every now and then, doesn't use the kitchen much to get it dirty all the time, and you want to have the same vinyl flooring you put in the living room, just one type of floor in your kitchen, that's fine too. There's no problem at all. It would fit nicely in your project. So these are things you need to consider and decide which one you're going to choose for your kitchen floor. All right, guys? So here are 5 tips. 5 pieces of information you need to take into consideration when building, renovating, or decorating your kitchen. There are many more items I could list for you here, but in my opinion, these are the 5 main functional points you need to follow, okay? So you can have a functional kitchen, a nice layout, and a beautiful, well-decorated kitchen, all right? There are others, for example, faucets, drop-in sinks, glass, mirrors on the doors. We can leave those for another video, but these are the ones you need to follow. In my opinion, you need to follow these to have a really nice kitchen, all right? I hope you guys enjoyed and liked this content. If you enjoyed it, if you liked it, share it with your friends, with everyone you know, so we can get this information I just shared in this video out to a lot of people, all right? Leave your like and I'll see you in our next video. Take care.